News at 9, your Code Red station.
I'm very angry about it, but I've got to hold it together because Lauren would want me to hold it together for her.
Tonight in Operation Crime and Justice, a murder victim's father is outraged after he says Nashville's justice system failed his daughter.
For days now, Fox 17 News has been highlighting issues with the suspect's release on bond, including problems with his GPS monitoring bracelet. Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar now live outside of Davidson County Jail with the father's reaction to all this tonight.
Lance Johansson tells me the failures cost the life of his daughter, Lauren Johansson. He tells me Bryson Rivers should have never been released from this jail behind me, and he should have been tracked correctly.
It's been a little more than a week since Lauren Johansson was found beaten to death in Gulfport, Mississippi.
This isn't something that I think anybody should have to live through, and we've been crying for a week.
Her ex-boyfriend, Bryson Rivers, is a suspected killer. Rivers already faced charges for previously beating Johansson in Nashville.
We knew that he was going to come for Lauren when he got the opportunity.
The pain of her loss, a hole that will never be filled. Robert Lance says multiple fumbles took place, leading to his daughter's death.
It's really a failure in the system in many facets.
The first, he says, was Judge Cheryl Blackburn reducing his bond. Then bond conditions never making it to the GPS monitoring company, including Rivers' orders not to leave the county. The bond company points the finger at the Davidson County Sheriff's Office, which is blaming the state's bonding office.
There's just too many people trying to cover up what happened instead of trying to figure out what happened and how can this be prevented in the future.
We reached out to the Nashville District Attorney's Office to find out if they plan to take action on the failures. They say they are looking into it.
Lauren Johansson would want not just justice for this, but she would wanted to make sure that no other woman had ever had this happen to her.
Lance tells me that he wants more answers before he lays his daughter Lauren to rest this Saturday. Reporting live in Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
We had some cases of sexual assault.
In Operation Crime and Justice, Fox 17 News continues to investigate problems with illegal rideshare drivers. And tonight, we're talking with leaders from another southern city, a place that successfully cracked down on imposters taking advantage of residents and tourists alike. Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller live downtown after speaking with leaders in Miami-Dade County, Florida.
Yes, we spoke with Miami-Dade County today, and the person that oversees their passenger transportation division says that since January, they've conducted 12 undercover operations and impounded more than 140 vehicles. And he says that the impacts on the safety of the community have been very powerful. More than 16 million tourists visit Nashville every year. Many use a rideshare or taxi to get around. Fox 17 News has been hearing horror stories about fake rideshares and taxis.
He would start and stop and start and stop and start and stop.
Caroline Harper says during her visit last weekend, her rideshare app was not working. So she and her friends got into a vehicle with a Lyft placard. Harper says the driver demanded more money while dropping them off, and things went south.
We were crossing the street in front of us, and he started speeding up as if he was going to hit us.
A major safety concern Miami has seen since 2017.
We had some cases of sexual assault.
Ivan Catayo regulates the passenger transportation division for Miami-Dade County and says they've conducted several operations to put an end to this. They have undercover officers at the hot spots like the airport and nightclubs.
They come out with luggage, they're actually tourists at that time, and they just wait to be solicited.
Catayo says the county has a new policy where if a driver solicits you to get into their car for a ride, they can issue a ticket, a trespass warning, and impound the vehicle. Catayo says they've also addressed repeat offenders.
Anyone who commits 2 or more violations are subject to be arrested as well for committing this type of violation.
Catayo says they've issued thousands of citations.
What impact have you seen since you started doing this?
I have seen a lot more drivers, more of those illegals coming into compliance.
And most importantly, he says this makes the county a lot safer.
Catayo says that they could not do these operations without the help of their local law enforcement agencies. And he really wants to emphasize that if you decide to use rideshare, to be able to book and complete your ride on the app to ensure that you are with a safe and legal driver. Reporting live from downtown, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Caitlin, thank you. Of course, Fox 17 News has been following the issue of taxi and rideshare problems downtown for several months now. To see our previous reporting, go to our website, fox17.com, and search Rideshare Nashville.
In your community, WeGo Public Transit adding 3 new locations to their WeGo Link program. The new locations are at Opry Mills, Adventure Science Center, and Bell Road. WeGo Link is a discounted rideshare program for those who find it difficult to get to and from WeGo bus stops. For more information about how to use the WeGo Link program, head to our website, fox17.com.
All right, turning to your weather for the first time all day, we are not code red.
Yes, the good news is the severe weather threat has ended across the area, although we are still seeing some showers out there on radar for this evening. But good news, right?
Rain we could use.
Yeah, rain we could use. This is video from earlier this afternoon out of Morganfield, Kentucky. So this is just north of us here, more in central Kentucky. And that is video of a tornado in progress there. And really, fortunately, we were kind of on the southern fringe of a couple of the tornado warnings, where more of them and more of the confirmed tornadoes were north of us up in Kentucky, like that one video you just saw there. So the good news is for tonight, things are done with. We are not going to be looking at severe weather. But as I mentioned, there are showers on the radar still. And so some of these, in fact, intense rain. So if you're hearing rain or heavy rain at that in portions of Rutherford County down to into portions of Shelbyville here in Bedford County and into Lincoln County too. A couple even rumbles of thunder will be possible, but we're not worried about severe weather anymore with these as a lot of the energy has been taken away for severe weather ingredients. A couple more showers to our north here. Macon, Trousdale, and Smith counties also picking up some showers along with Wilson County. Wider picture shows still remnants of Beryl that continue to push north and east this evening. Again, a lot of the focus today for tornadoes was right about here throughout portions of Kentucky and even into southern Indiana. And we continue to find quite a bit of rain here. The unfortunate part is we really could use the rain, but the axis of heavy rain stayed well west of us here, and we were sort of in that sweet spot for spin-up tornadoes, which we had earlier this afternoon. Low temperatures tonight stay mild. We are looking at a little relief from the heat. We hit 97 this afternoon, believe it or not. And unfortunately, the heat, it's coming back in the later part of the week. We'll talk about when we could see 100 coming up in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
Thank you, Katie. Getting arrested for driving.
Nearly 22 million children living in America rely on schools for their meals. Fox 17 News and our parent company, Sinclair Broadcasting, are partnering with Feed America for the Sinclair Cares Summer Hunger Relief Program. You can donate by scanning the QR code on your screen or go to sinclaircares.com.
Getting charged with DUI is a game changer, but what if you get charged with DUI and you weren't under the influence of anything?
Well, after Fox 17 News first reported about a minister who tested for no drugs or alcohol in his system, more viewers began reaching out to our very own Kelly Avellino. She's finding that sober drivers are getting arrested for intoxication, and it's more common than you might think.
I was just out of balance. Gotcha.
Sir, I have not taken time. When I ran you through the field sobriety test, you failed.
Each of these men charged with DUI in Middle Tennessee tested negative for both alcohol and drugs.
What has this done to your life?
It was the most stressful, most traumatic experience I've ever had.
When Goodlettsville police pulled over elementary school teacher Jeff Adams for crossing out of his lane, he was eager to prove that he didn't have a drop of alcohol in his system.
And he said, "You'll be glad to do a field sobriety test?" I said, "Sure," because I don't drink. So I knew I could pass it.
But Adams was wrong.
having both hips replaced, I'm not going to do well standing on one leg.
He hoped a breathalyzer would quickly clear him.
He tested negative.
But in Fox 17 News' first report, I uncovered a majority of law enforcement agencies in Middle Tennessee don't use breathalyzers, saying blood draws are more accurate.
But I do believe that some type of real-time ability to test would at least be able to assist with somebody who is just outright not impaired.
Rutherford County DUI defense attorney Scott Kimberly says while DUI enforcement is crucial, he believes officers need more training to pinpoint other factors that could cause a sober driver to fail a field test.
They have difficulty walking for a completely legitimate medical purpose, but the officers don't inquire about that.
For 76-year-old David Dutton, having vertigo sometimes affects his balance.
And plus I'm old.
Dutton did tell Rutherford Sheriff's deputies about the bulging disc in his back.
So you've been dealing with a disc for 45 years?
Oh, yeah.
You don't take any pain medications or anything for it? No?
Dutton says he doesn't take pain meds or drink, but he still had trouble walking heel to toe.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I got that balance or not.
Do you have any questions about the instructions?
No.
All right. Whenever you're ready.
I just can't believe this.
Minister William Rose didn't believe it either. His longtime balance and eye problems led to a failed field test in Murfreesboro.
It's been an ongoing struggle. There's times when I'm alone, I'll cry.
Ultimately, all of their cases were dismissed, but they had to wait 3 to 7 months for TBI to process the test results and longer for court.
These people have to continue to wonder, am I going to lose my license? Is that going to cost me my job?
A TBI spokesperson tells Fox 17 that the current turnaround time for alcohol testing is about 3 weeks and 10 weeks for drugs. That's just over 3 months for both. TBI says new funding will allow them to hire more scientists by the end of the year.
Now, each of these men had questionable field sobriety tests, which police will say is enough probable cause to warrant an arrest. I found out that the number of DUI cases in Tennessee getting totally dismissed is happening more often.
In fact, court records show the same officer who arrested Jeff Adams had 2 other DUI cases dismissed last year. The Goodlettsville Police Department sent us a statement saying in part they regret the impact to Mr. Adams' life, but the officer made a good faith effort based on probable cause. We are continuing in training our personnel with the goal of having positive outcomes. This Tennessee District Attorney's General Conference newsletter reports more than 12% of DUIs in the state were dismissed in the first quarter of 2024. That's 220 cases. The newsletter goes on to say, quote, unfortunately, we are seeing more and more cases being dismissed.
I've had less than 5 traffic infractions in my life, and then to be arrested for a DUI, and you have to explain that to your own kids. All you have is your reputation, and it got smeared that morning.
You have a seat in here again.
A good tip, keep any medical documentation that will show that you have issues that could impact a field sobriety test in your glove compartment. I'm Kelly Avellino for Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
All right, let's talk about the weather. We're now out from under the gun, so to speak, but does that mean it cools down? Because sometimes it does on the backside of a storm.
For this time of year, yes, we can say that.
Which means not really.
Which means not really. He knows me well. Yes, we are going to see a brief cool down. In fact, a decent cool down, a good 10 degrees for tomorrow. It's looking like with temperatures right around 88, 89 degrees. We were at 97 this afternoon, so we will cool down a little bit. And unfortunately will not last very long, though, as we expect the heat to return in a big way by the end of the week. So the good news is for the short term, the storms have cleared. We are still seeing showers on radar and a few rumbles of thunder, but I should mention, or I should elaborate, the severe weather has cleared for tonight. But east to 65, consider yourself lucky if you're getting some rain, because it is going to be the last time for a while that we've got a chance for showers in the forecast. Boy, we need the rain. Brief relief on Wednesday, as I mentioned, as far as temperatures go, and then the heat does return in a big way. So 75, a little bit of cloud cover for the early part of the day. We should be clearing out more into the afternoon. Temperature hovering around 87 or so for the later part of the day, and then up to about 88 by 5. with mainly sunny skies. I mentioned that heat coming back. For Wednesday and Thursday, we should be right around 90 or so, but we get into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Highs approaching 99. We could see 100 degrees out there. I'm always hesitant to push that 1 degree into triple-digit territory, so we're going to stick with 99, but it's possible that we could see 100 here for any of the days this weekend. Heat index values aren't looking overly oppressive at this point, but we get up to about 99, 100. It's not going to take much. It'll start to feel 105, 106, 107. So that is likely for this weekend as well. Keep in mind, to our average for perspective, hovers around 90 for this time of year, so of course well above average. Showers clear as we go through the overnight. This is right around 3 a.m. and then even more so as we head towards about 9 o'clock or so. So we'll see more cloud cover move out by later morning hours on Wednesday. And then we get into the afternoon. Future Trek insistent on bringing in a stray shower. I can't rule one out, but I'm really, if you need to, I'm going to say just water those plants. I wouldn't bank on rain coming in from Mother Nature tomorrow. Most of us will stay dry. If you see a stray shower, again, just consider yourself lucky. But the rain chances are going to remain slim to none over the next several days. We'll talk more about how that's impacting us locally already and when we might see better chances of rain moving in. That coming up in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
Thank you, Katie. It's a great time to buy when Tennessee goes tax-free.
Hey there, I'm Fox 17 News This Morning anchor Erica Glover. Let's talk about saving money. The AARP releasing their annual list of
In the economy, Tennessee's sales tax holiday on clothing, school supplies, and computers coming up a little later this month, so mark your calendars. It runs from July 26th through July 28th. It's Fox 17 News. We'll have more information on deals on how you can score these great deals when we get closer to that day.
In politics, President Biden right now focused on getting on with his election bid, I should say, despite concerns from members of his own party. Fox 17 News' Matt Galka tonight looking at what he's saying, and you can vote on this issue by scanning the QR code that will appear on your screen.
House Democrats left their in-person meeting with some standing by their calls for Joe Biden to end his campaign.
While he's convinced everyone who was in that room that he has been a great president, there are too many people in the battleground states who have not been convinced. And the debate didn't advance us there.
And others backed off.
He's won the nomination. I mean, he's got all the delegates. Only he can make that.
The split continued even after the president asked for unity in his party. He's tried to explain his poor debate performance as a one-off incident and that he's still up for the job. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer was asked multiple times about the president's support in the Senate.
As I've said before, I'm with Joe.
Growing frustration over whether or not the White House has been straight with the American people about if the president was fit to serve boiled over in a press conference this week.
I hear you. Guys.
Karine Jean-Pierre's lack of information on multiple visits from a Parkinson's expert to the White House led to a letter from the president's physician clarifying Biden gets a neurological checkup for his annual physicals, and the visits were mostly for other staff. Republicans pounced on the chaos.
The White House has been trying to cover up for a lot of his failures. But everybody up here in this town that's interacted with the president has known for years that this is the Joe Biden that we've all seen.
If the pressure wasn't already on, the president's every move is likely under the microscope this week. His packed schedule features speeches and dinners with foreign leaders as the NATO summit kicks off in D.C. Reporting in Washington, I'm Matt Gelka.
Now, during this story, we have the QR code up, which would link you to a poll asking, do you think President Biden and his aides are being fully transparent with questions regarding his health? 731 people weighing in, and almost 93% of them say no, we don't think they're being candid. 7.4% believe they are. Our thanks tonight for all who took time to cast a vote.
Well, they put
I think it would only take musicians deciding they're not going to play on Broadway for 1 week to see a lot of changes happen really quickly.
In the economy tonight, the price to park in downtown Nashville could force local musicians to look elsewhere. A new report by Greater Nashville Music Census shows this issue is one of the biggest facing those who perform. Fox 17 News' Kylie Walker showing us what this could now mean for the future of Music City.
If you've ever driven downtown or even just simply tried to find a parking spot, you know how frustrating it can be, especially for those musicians who have to drive down here on a weekly or even nightly basis. But it's not just those high rates, it's also those policies like having to pay after 6.
Of the 4,200 plus musicians voicing their concerns in a new survey, many shared the same issues. The #1 concern related to parking.
I think profit is fine as long as it's not put ahead of the public good.
Wes Little, a local musician who moved here from New York City, has been here to see all of the changes in Music City the last 16 years. He's one of many speaking out about the parking costs and policies.
If you have a base pay of $50 and you go downtown to play and then they charge you $10 for parking, 20% of your money has already gone to that. And then you're having to schlep your gear through the rain, which could be 3 or 4 blocks.
Some of the other concerns voiced in the findings seen here. One musician says high pay to park lots, no parking, huge disincentive to ever want to play downtown. Others suggesting a loading zone for musicians that taxis can't use, or a parking lot exclusive to them. While another person pointed to the parking minimums, when a spot only allows 2 to 3 hours, but a gig often lasts 4 hours, resulting in a fine for those playing or attending a show.
So if you go down on Broadway, just take a survey of how many people are in a club with a band versus how many people are in a club without one. And I think that needs to be taken into the equation.
We brought these concerns to Metro Councilman Jacob Coopin, who represents the downtown district.
Musician parking is an issue that I've been actively working on.
Coopin says this is a big priority to him, and he's been in conversations with the Department of Transportation to make realistic options for people, along with other city leaders and businesses.
Keep in mind, these are just the first results of the census findings. That full study comes out in September, so that's definitely something that we will keep an eye out for. For now, reporting in Nashville, Kylie Walker, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
And we want to know what you think. Should downtown Nashville establishments provide parking for performers and employees? Just over 400 people weighing in on this tonight. 82% say yes, 18% say no. This poll is still live, so we'd still love to get your thoughts on this. You can vote by scanning the QR code right there on your screen. It will take you over to our X page, our handle @Fox Nashville, and we'll show you updated poll results here a little later in the newscast.
In Operation Crime and Justice, law enforcement and community leaders gather in Wilson County today to remember a couple of their own. 21 years ago today, Mount Juliet Police Sergeant Jerry Monday and Wilson County Sheriff's Department Deputy John Music were run over and killed trying to capture an escaped prison inmate.
We remember that every day. You don't realize how you take your life for granted until it's gone in a second.
2 white crosses near the Mount Juliet exit on Interstate 40, a reminder of 2 public servants killed here in the line of duty on July 9th, 2003.
It was just disbelief at first. I've seen some things I never want to see again, and things I wish I could forget that I saw.
Mount Juliet Police Chief Michael Mullins was a patrol officer back then, and among those who responded to the scene. He and now Wilson County Sheriff's Department Major Robert Stafford helped lead this roadside memorial.
Everybody that knew these fine men had no idea that morning that that'd be the last time they would say goodbye to them. Think about your loved ones. Keep that in mind. Honor them, honor the character of what they did for the community.
Few felt the pain of loss more than Sergeant Monday's widow. Trish Monday Bollinger says her biggest fear is that people would forget, but that hasn't happened. There has been a public memorial every year.
I've always said that as much as this is for me, I want this to be for the officers who are still standing, the ones who are still serving. I want them to know what their service means. And I don't know that my husband knew that.
Sergeant Jerry Monday and Deputy John Music, gone, but never to be forgotten. Trish Monday Bollinger now works with a nonprofit group that supports the families of other fallen officers. It's called Concerns of Police Survivors, and she's the immediate past president of the Tennessee chapter.
Our severe weather threat has moved on, so we are clear for the night. Still tracking showers, though, as we go through the evening. You can see here from our South Nashville camera that we are looking nice and quiet, but I mentioned some rain that continues in some of our counties, including Cannon County, getting ready to push through Woodbury, Manchester, picking up a few showers with a few strikes of lightning. Put a quick track on this here. These moving at about 40 miles per hour. And again, we'll continue to see these showers around. Some producing some rumbles of thunder, but that should be about it. And maybe a brief heavy downpour. So I thought I would take the opportunity to quickly discuss what is a spin-up tornado. You've heard us use that term a lot, especially with our tropical system that we had moved through. Remember, these were remnants of Beryl that did quite a bit of damage in Houston. So a spin-up tornado is one that often forms quickly, which means, unfortunately, there's usually little warning time with these storms. They spin up quickly, and then they dissolve quickly, but they can and often do damage. So unfortunately, these are those types that you don't get a lot of lead time on, but you need to stay alert throughout the day. And for an example here, this was one from this afternoon here in our viewing area. We had a couple of them. There's another one in Montgomery County. So this, watch the radar here. I'll move it backwards again, and we'll take a look, and you can see here the time of it, and you can see that it's only up for maybe 15 minutes. And then the warning goes away. So that's really the definition of these spin-up tornadoes, where we have a tornado warning that's in effect for maybe 10-15 minutes, and then the rotation is gone, and so then they're allowed that warning to cancel there. So that's our spin-up tornado definition. The good news is we aren't going to be looking at severe weather again anytime soon. Unfortunately, that means no rain in our future as well. We'll talk more about the impact that that's having for us coming up in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
Thank you, Katie. In
the economy tonight, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell painting a picture for members of Congress on the state of inflation.
Fox 17 News' Atra El-Nashar taking a look at what we can expect in the coming months and how Congress wants to respond.
The top kitchen table issue top of mind on Capitol Hill.
Americans are pissed off.
The rapid rise in the cost of living since the pandemic,
Your total is
weighing down budgets for people like Erin Wiggle, a Pennsylvania mom of 11.
With the paper products and dairies and meats going through the roof, we easily blow through our grocery budget within the first 2 weeks of the month.
Ahead of the election, polls consistently rank inflation as a top issue for voters. There's a clear political divide among lawmakers about the source of the problem. Democrats point to corporate greed.
From July of 2020 to July of 2022, corporate profits in the United States of America rose 75%, 5 times the rate of inflation.
Republicans blame government spending and regulation.
I hate it for the American people. And I just hope the people up here in Capitol Hill will get out of the dang way and let people live.
Inflation's hurting households and small business owners. A new poll by the National Federation of Independent Business found inflation remains their top problem. Daniel Lee owns a fast casual pasta restaurant in Philadelphia. High supply costs force him to make tough choices.
A lot of them get very upset when their portion sizes are shrunk or when the prices are increased, and they tend not to return.
Even massive chains are not immune to this. Some Chipotle customers, skeptical about portion sizes, are using their phones to record their orders being made as sort of a pressure tactic to make sure they're getting the right amount of food.
Today, I'm going to be trying the Chipotle phone method.
A suit? Such a squeaky?
It even triggered a response from the CEO.
The whole thing's a little silly. It actually kind of really bums me out when people frankly do this videoing thing, because it's like, it's a little rude to our team members.
Frustration and finger pointing all around, with almost everyone saying it's all they can do just to keep up. In Washington, I'm Atra El-Nashar reporting.
Coming up, we'll talk more about our rain deficit, how it's impacting us, and when we might see some.
Nearly 22 million children living in America rely on schools for their meals. Fox 17 News and our parent company, Sinclair Broadcasting, are partnering with Feed America for the Sinclair Cares Summer Hunger Relief Program. You can donate by scanning the QR code on your screen or go to sinclaircares.com.
In our Operation Crime and Justice, a former Tennessee state senator who pleaded guilty to campaign finance fraud will not be allowed to withdraw his guilty plea. Kelsey's attorney tried to argue federal prosecutors violated the deal after threatening him with a harsher sentence when he changed his mind about the plea. His 21-month sentence will remain in place. His attorney says that they're appealing.
In entertainment news tonight, Oak Ridge Boys tenor Joe Bonsall loses his battle with ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. Bonsall left the road from the band back in January, saying that he was suffering from a neuromuscular disease that made it impossible for him to continue. He was a member of the legendary Oak Ridge Boys for more than 50 years and also authored nearly a dozen books. Oak's president Dwayne Allen remembers Bonsall as that best friend that every person hopes to have in his life. Joe Bonsall was 76.
Fox 17 News investigates. The Department of Children's Services reporting on the death of Ariel Rose. The 23-month-old died from fentanyl in a transitional facility back in November of 2022. Ariel once lived in a homeless camp with her parents before documents show DCS gave custody to the toddler's aunt. DCS investigators reveal the aunt dropped Ariel off at High Road Place a day before she died. The report confirms officers found drug residue, drugs out on the table, and needles in a drawer in the apartment where the child stayed.
Don't let that little girl die in vain. Take the lessons from that case, because there are plenty of them. I mean, and do something so this never happens again.
Wednesday night on Fox 17 News at 9, Amanda Chin digs deeper into the DCS report as others push for change.
Hurricane Beryl made landfall in Texas on Monday before being downgraded, but the remnants of that storm continue to cause trouble, spawning a series of tornadoes.
I went outside to look for it, and I saw it. It was coming. It sounded like a train, like a big freight train was right on top of you.
Tornadoes have been seen in Texas, Louisiana, and Kentucky today as remnants of Beryl continue to march north. And these are devastating tornadoes, in fact, crushing one man to death in his home.
Happened like super fast as I was going downstairs to check on my son. That's when I heard the big crack.
Many survivors are now without power. In fact, millions of people in Texas alone are trying to stay cool in oppressive heat with no electricity. Triple-digit temperatures in the Houston area are expected to continue until the weekend.
Hey, and take a look at this photo of a storm cloud in Kentucky sent to us by a viewer. It was taken by Tyler Volker in Bullitt County, Kentucky, and it's a pretty impressive storm cloud there. All right, and we had some weather earlier on today. It seems like that's kind of fading for us.
At least the severe weather, that is good news. I saw a lot of those impressive pictures, a lot of that just north of the viewing area for today, which is where the forecast was. We were kind of on that southern fringe of the tornado threat, and fortunately for us, a lot of the threat was outside of the area. But for others, again, they continue to see tornado warnings in more northern portions of this system here. Things again quiet over downtown, and we are tracking showers, not severe, but there is rain on the radar. This is one loop here over the last hour, and you can see some more heavy pockets of rain, especially in our southern counties this evening. And at this point, if you are seeing rain, consider yourself lucky, because unfortunately it is going to be the last of the rain that we have for a while. This is a 2-day composite of rain accumulation, and you can easily pick out the bullseye. All of this associated with Beryl. So these are Beryl remnant rainfall here over the past few days, and of course Houston, which dealt with quite a bit of flooding due to the hurricane at that point that made landfall and then continued inland, but still produced quite a bit of rain over the past few days. And we just missed out on that. Just to our west is where we had more of those showers fall associated with Beryl. This time around, we're just unfortunate to be in that tornado sweet spot. So tomorrow things will dry out for us. You notice we start off with a little bit of cloud cover, but we will slowly clear. Temperatures will hold steady. We should be in the upper 80s to around 90 for the afternoon. But moving forward, we are not going to have very many opportunities for rain. This is a look at the last 30 days compared to our percentage of normal rainfall in the last 30 days. So basically, the drier that we've been, the darker this orange, burnt orange to brown color. And then in the green, that's a surplus. So we have seen 35% of our average or normal rainfall over the past 30 days. Not great to see, and it is now starting to cost us as far as the drought is concerned. So this is our drought monitor, and we're now entering a level 1 drought here in our southern counties. We're in the level 2 drought. And this is likely going to worsen here because our rain chances are not looking great through the rest of the week. We should stay dry. May get lucky with a stray shower, but really isn't going to do enough to really soak into the ground and take hold of some of these drought conditions that we have. So we look ahead and you can see that we've got no chances for rain, really. Few pop-ups possible for Monday and Tuesday of next week, and the heat is on as well, so making sure you keep those plants and flowers watered as much as possible to help them out because highs could be near 100 by the end of the week.
New tonight, airport security screeners around the country confiscated more than 3,000 guns during the first 6 months of the year. We're halfway through. The Transportation Security Administration says agents prevented more than 3,200 guns from making it through checkpoints and onto flights since January. That's about the same number as last year, but TSA says they have screened about 15 million more passengers so far this year. The agency advises people to declare any packed gun in a checked bag. And they say you should also make sure that your weapon is packed according to federal guidelines.
In your consumer news, Sam's Club getting rid of a major online shopping perk for its Plus members. It's doing away with free shipping for low-cost orders starting August 19th. Plus members must spend a minimum of $50 in their digital carts to avoid the $8 delivery fee. The move has some members threatening to file a class action suit or take their business to Costco.
Just ahead, Deep in Debt will tell you what student loan repayments reveal about our economy.
And Forever has a new... In the economy, the gap between the haves and the have-nots when it comes to student loan payments has widened since the pandemic. Education Department data shows while 20 million student loan holders started paying back their loans since the pandemic, about 19 million have not. This means their loans are either in delinquency, defaults, or deferments. According to the New York Times, nearly 43 million loan holders owe $1.2 trillion. Borrowers can qualify for payment help until September.
In consumer news, the cost of a postage stamp is going up again starting July the 14th. First class Forever stamp will jump 5% from the current price of 68 cents all the way to 73 cents. This, by the way, the second time this year the cost of a Forever stamp has increased, the first price hike taking place at the first of the year in January. Postal Service says these higher prices are necessary so it can maintain the service's financial viability.
This is Fox 17 News at 10, your Code Red station.
It's really a failure in the system in many facets.
That man, the father of a murder victim, says Nashville's criminal justice system is partly to blame for his daughter's death.
Police say Bryson Rivers killed Lauren Johansson shortly after being released on bond here in Nashville. He was in jail here, charged with beating her. Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar joining us live from the Davidson County Jail to tell us what that father is saying tonight. Karen.
Megan, Lance Johansson is living in an absolute nightmare after the murder of his daughter, Lauren, that he says was at the hands of her ex-boyfriend, Bryson Rivers. He says his outrage is made worse, but why he calls mistakes of the justice system. The criminal court clerk's office just admitted today to me they made a mistake and forgot to send the bond conditions to the jail. This prompted Rivers' release without an order to the GPS monitoring company that he had to stay in Davidson County. Throughout this investigation, multiple agencies pointed the fingers at each other.
There's just too many people trying to cover up what happened instead of trying to figure out what happened And how can this be prevented in the future?
We reached out to the Nashville District Attorney's Office to find out if they plan to take action against these failures. They say they are looking into it. Lance Johansson tells me he wants more answers before he lays his daughter Lauren to rest this Saturday. Reporting live in Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
What are some recommendations after doing these operations would you have for other cities to be successful with this as well?
In Operation Crime and Justice, advice from city leaders in Miami, Florida, where they have successfully battled bogus cab and rideshare drivers. It's a growing problem here in Nashville, and city leaders locally are struggling. Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller live downtown now with more on the problem in Nashville and how they're handling things in Miami.
Yes, Scott. Well, more than 16 million people visit Nashville every year. And obviously, a lot of us use rideshare. But people have been coming to Fox 17 News with horror stories with illegal drivers. Now, we spoke with Ivan Catayo, who regulates the passenger transportation division for Miami-Dade County in Florida. And they say they've conducted several operations to put an end to this. They have undercover officers at the hot spots like the airport and nightclubs that issue a ticket, trespass warning, and impound the vehicle if a driver solicits passengers illegally. He says since January, they've done 12 undercover operations and impounded more than 140 vehicles. They've also addressed repeat offenders.
Once you get caught soliciting or conducting business without a license, we issue you a trespass warning. That means when you come back, you're going arrested.
Catayo says that they've issued thousands of citations. And because of this, he says now a lot more people are in compliance and that the county is just safer after all. He says it's a lot cheaper to actually be compliant than to deal with all of these citations. Reporting live from downtown, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
In Operation Crime and Justice, the sentence will stay for former Tennessee State Senator who pleaded guilty to campaign finance charges and again will remain in prison. Brian Kelsey tried to withdraw his guilty plea. Kelsey's attorney tried to argue federal prosecutors violated the deal after threatening him with a harsher sentence when he changed his mind about the plea. His 21-month sentence will remain in place. Kelsey's attorneys say they are appealing.
In Operation Crime and Justice, remembering two mid-state lawmen who were killed in the line of duty 21 years ago today. Mount Juliet Police Sergeant Jerry Monday and Wilson County Sheriff's Deputy John Music were run over trying to capture an escaped prison inmate there on the interstate. Two white crosses near the Mount Juliet exit on I-40 serve as a reminder. Today, law enforcement and community leaders gathered beside the interstate to remember these men and their service and sacrifice.
Your greatest fear when something like this happens is that people will forget. And my department promised me they would not forget. And 21 years later, we still do this every year, and tons of people show up.
Sergeant Monday's widow wants active duty law enforcement officers to know what their sacrifice means. She said today she isn't sure that her late husband knew that.
And we're an adolescent city. You know, we're certainly feeling, our rise, but we need to be careful how we grow up.
Tracking the economy, Nashville musicians say they're fed up with issues surrounding parking downtown. A new study from the Greater Nashville Music Census finds that they are most frustrated by the high rates and strict policies. More than 4,200 people voicing their concerns, many pointing to the parking minimums, which are oftentimes shorter than a 4-hour gig. And some even asking for loading zones or lower rates for locals. Nashville drummer Wes Little is part of a group calling for change.
It's how we grow. It's how we take care of our citizens. It's in our residents and our musicians and people that have grown this economy into what it is.
As a former musician himself, Area Councilman Jacob Cupin says this is a top priority to him. Right now, he's actively working with agencies like NDOT and the Department of Transportation to enact some change downtown. And we we want to know what you think. Earlier in our newscast, we told you about our X poll that's live right now, asking the question, should downtown Nashville establishments provide parking for performers and employees? So we've had about 50 more people weigh in just in the last half hour, so almost 440 people. And here are the results. 82.5% say yes, parking establishments should provide parking for performers and employees. 17.5% say no. Each night, look for a brand new poll on our X page that you can participate in.
Looking ahead to Friday now and the start of early voting in Tennessee for the upcoming August primary. The voting will open, as we say, on Friday. That is July the 12th. And it will run all the way through the 27th, so you have a couple of weeks there to vote early. Now, on the ballot locally, both U.S. House and Senate races, along with a couple of hotly contested State House and Senate races. Tennessee's regular primary election day, mark this on your calendar, August the 1st.
Check this out. The remnants of Hurricane Beryl causing some peculiar weather patterns across the mid-state. Our X user Tyler Volker capturing this picture showing a spiral-like formation of clouds in the sky above. And probably caused some concern.
Yes, yeah, it did. A lot of those types of clouds will, and a lot of them today were producing what we call wall clouds, which would be the precursor to a funnel cloud, which could turn into a tornado. These are more kind of scary looking clouds coming in out of Trigg County this afternoon in Kentucky. And fortunately in Trigg County, we didn't have any tornado warnings here. We did have one in Christian County, neighboring county over in Kentucky. Again, a lot of these storms were in Kentucky for today. And the good news is they are all done with for tonight. We're in that all clear alert as we head through the overnight hours. We'll continue, though, to see some rain on the radar, and that's what we have at the moment, moving through a nice line here in the eastern part of our viewing area. Maybe a rumble of thunder at best, but a lot of these are not producing really anything but heavy rainfall right now, moving through, getting ready to move through Smithville, McMinnville, and now to the east of Manchester. We'll zoom out, nice skinny line that you can see here. These are all remnants of Beryl that continue to push north and east. A lot of the heavy rain, some of that rain we really could have used, stayed west of us for the afternoon. So right now, temperatures sitting at 80 degrees in Nashville. We'll look at a partly to mostly cloudy sky as we go through the evening hours for tonight. And we look ahead to the overnight. We'll look at those temperatures to drop back into the 70s. So 73 here in Nashville, upper 60s to around 70 for Murfreesboro, Clarksville in the upper 60s. The dry air takes over for us. The warm air, unfortunately, takes over for us as well. We'll talk more about how warm we are looking by the end of the week when we could see 100. It's in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
In the economy, a warning from experts tonight that could spell trouble for people who are looking to buy their very first home.
And as Fox 17 News' Angela Brown explains, experts warn that their first opportunity could be years away.
If you're thinking about buying a home, news like this is a gut punch. Redfin just releasing new numbers, finding the median U.S. home sales price just under $400,000 in June, jumping 5% from last year. Former Obama HUD Secretary Sean Donovan.
We're just coming through the worst housing affordability crisis we've ever seen in this country. We had 18% year-over-year increase in rents. Home prices rising at levels we've never seen.
Buyers may not get a break for a while. Bank of America economists say the housing market could be stuck until at least 2026 or even later, predicting prices could go up even more, combined with low supply. Jeff Ostrowski from Bankrate says first-time homeowners are already having a tough time.
New homeowners who are really squeezing to get into homeownership in the first place and in a very difficult market. So the home prices are near record levels. Mortgage rates are higher than they've been in decades.
Another concerning indicator, pending home sales dropped 2.1% in May, with more people staying in their home after locking in lower interest rates. Mitchell Rochelle, Madison Ventures Plus.
We're selling less homes than we've sort of ever sold before, yet the price is going up. What that suggests to me is it proves my hypothesis that this is about supply and demand.
Housing Wire is reporting that housing inventory is up slightly at 1% this week, and some areas of the country are expected to see home prices decline, according to CoreLogic. That includes cities including Daytona Beach, Florida, and Greenville, South Carolina. In Washington, D.C., I'm Angela Brown.
I'm Kayla Gaskins. Coming up, what the RNC took out of their new platform that had been in place for 4
New tonight, the Republican National Convention drops a national abortion ban from its official party platform.
Fox 17 News' Kayla Gaskins digging into why they're doing this for the first time in 4 decades.
The Republican National Committee altering its stance on abortion. The newly released official party platform notably does not call for a national ban, as it has for the past 4 decades, instead aligning with Donald Trump's stance.
I think our platform has to reflect our nominee and our nominee's position.
That abortion should be a state-level decision.
As far as the abortion is concerned, it is now back with the states, and it's bringing it back to the vote of the people, which is what everybody wanted.
SBA Pro-Life, one of the nation's largest pro-life organizations, supporting the platform, pointing to the RNC including, "We believe that the 14th Amendment to the Constitution of the United States guarantees that no person can be denied life or liberty without due process."
The very critical thing in that platform, again, was reaffirming its commitment to the unborn life through the 14th Amendment.
SBA Pro-Life Vice President Marilyn Musgrave conceding they would like to see a federal abortion ban reinstated in future platforms.
I think that reasonable limits on abortion would be very agreeable with the public, and I would love to see that.
Meanwhile, Democrats see abortion as a weak spot for Trump politically.
We know Trump will sign a national abortion ban if he gets the chance, but we won't let him.
The Biden campaign releasing relentless slews of attack ads.
And now she has a politician like Donald Trump telling her what she's supposed to do in this situation.
I was turned away from 2 emergency rooms. That was a direct result of Donald Trump overturning Roe v. Wade. He will let women and doctors be punished.
Party platforms are symbolic and not binding for members. Still, this change sends a message. Trump continues shaping the GOP in his image.
The full RNC will officially vote to confirm the new platform at the party's convention in Milwaukee next week. I'm Kayla Gaskins reporting.
Well, our severe weather threat is over for tonight, which is good news. The remnants of Beryl, though, continue north as we put this in motion. You can see the majority of rainfall moving through Illinois and Indiana, and a few tornado warnings continue up in Ohio this evening. The tail end that you can see draped across the eastern part of our viewing area will continue to push east, and we are not concerned with severe weather with this line that continues to work its way toward the plateau. So storms will clear out this evening. We're left with some brief relief from the heat going into Wednesday. Unfortunately, it's not going to last very long as the heat returns by the late part of the work week into the weekend. The 90s, upper 90s look to return. 75 our temperature at 10 o'clock in the morning, up to about 86 by 2 and 88 by 5. We'll see a little cloud cover earlier in the day, and then we should clear as we head into the afternoon. Next several days are just, again, looking brutal for us here with high heat and humidity for the weekend. So highs in the upper 90s near 100 starting Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday of next week. And heat index values will be in those low 100s range. The average, just for perspective right here, which is right around 90 for this time of year. So, of course, upper 90s well above average for us here. And we've had a handful of upper 90-degree days, several of them, in fact, already this summer. So overnight tonight, as far as rain goes, it will clear out. We're left with decreasing clouds slowly through the morning. We'll find more sunshine as we head into the afternoon. Notice as we head into the later part of the day, a few spot showers. Future Track is insistent on bringing in, can't rule 1 or 2 out, but if you find one of these, consider yourself lucky. Our chances for rain will remain pretty slim for the next several days, all the way into the weekend. Most of us stay dry as we head through the overnight and into early Thursday. Forecast tonight, a couple of those showers and a few rumbles continue east to 65 for tonight. Temperatures should drop to about 73 as we head through the overnight hours, up to about 88 to 90 for tomorrow. So we'll call it our brief relief from the heat, but we're right back into those mid to upper 90s range as we head towards the weekend. And unfortunately, not much rain in sight. I know we could use it, and we just don't see any big rainmakers headed our way anytime soon.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
While Beryl passed through Arkansas yesterday and today, it spawned what appears to be a short-lived tornado near Little Rock, while the Coast Guard captured these shots of the flooding Beryl caused along the Texas coast. In less than a day after this incredible rain shaft formed off the Myrtle Beach coast, a gorgeous rainbow helped usher in a new day.
Listen to Off the Radar, new episodes every Tuesday. Find it wherever you get your podcasts.
And you can see more stories like this every weekday morning on the National Weather Desk. It starts at 8 a.m. on our sister station, MyTV 30.
I'm Jeff Harris in Washington. Technology is making it easier for scammers to cash in. Who they're targeting and how to protect your money, coming up.
Nearly 22 million children living in America rely on schools for their meals. Fox 17 News and our parent company, Sinclair Broadcasting, are partnering.
Making news across America, crooks continue to steal billions of dollars every year, and most of these cyber criminals get away with it.
Sad but true, and the experts say the problem could be getting worse. Fox 17 News' Jeff Harris tonight to show us who is the most vulnerable.
When it comes to cybercrime, things could get much worse, specifically for older Americans. Because as technology continues to evolve and AI gets more sophisticated, it's becoming more difficult to figure out what's real and what isn't. Michael Harris isn't just an IT professor at Tulane University. He's also the first person many people call when they think they've been scammed.
He looked at some different things and he said, I just don't know what to do.
Unfortunately, Harris says in his experience, recovering the lost money, which sometimes can be in the six figures, isn't likely.
They did file a police report and everything like that, but that person's money's probably going to be gone.
According to a 2023 AARP study, Americans over the age of 60 lose more than $28 billion each year to fraud, something Harris says will continue happening as technology gets more advanced.
That's a terrible sense, that you can't trust a face, you can't trust a voice, you can't trust an email.
Sheng-Yi Q, a professor and cybersecurity expert, tells us it's not just a rise in cybercrime we need to be on the lookout for. We're also going to see more scammers start to emerge.
Some people may have bad ideas, they want to get some cybercrime. They can just go ahead and do that, learn in a very short time and do it very easily.
As for what you can do to prevent this from happening, Harris says practice what he calls good cyber hygiene, especially if you or a loved one is an attractive target.
Some form of, hey, really double verifying that, hey, this is you have this phone.
Now, according to the Federal Trade Commission, fraudsters stole an estimated $137 billion in 2022, including $48 billion from older Americans. I'm Jeff Harris reporting from Washington.
When was the last time you joined a new group or started hanging out with friends? I'm Liz Bonus. Why socialization really matters when it comes to better health. We explain.
Hey there, I'm Fox 17 News This Morning anchor Erica Glover. Let's talk about saving money. The AARP releasing their annual list of 99 ways to save some bucks. There are tips on how to save from travel to utilities to personal finance. We're going to share that story with you Wednesday on Fox 17 News This Morning. I'll see you then.
In health news, the holiday week may be over, but if you spent time with family and friends, you may have improved your health, get this, without even knowing it.
Fox 17 medical reporter Liz Bonus sharing a new report on the impact of loneliness.
Hey there, everybody. Getting together and hanging out with friends beyond the holidays is critical to our good health. Several studies now show when it comes to a lot of different things that can go wrong in the body, loneliness takes a toll.
It's one of the reasons families such as Don Nolan's cook out all year.
Today it's just a barbecue. Sometimes it's seafood boil. Sometimes it's fish. It just varies.
After nearly 4 decades, he says it's really about the people as well as the connection to
A little music, lots of food, lots of family, lots of fun.
Disguised in that fun and great food, however, he really may be working against the health impacts of loneliness and isolation. Those now impact as many as 1 in 3 of us by the time we hit about 40, according to a report from the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine.
We're learning through studies that isolation, especially among seniors, can lead to some serious cognitive declines as well as declines with our cardiovascular health and our mental health.
Paula Bourne is the Senior Regional Director of Operations at Ohio's Life Enriching Communities. She says this report now shows we can quantify the impact of loneliness and isolation. Social isolation now rivals smoking, obesity, and lack of exercise when it comes to early death risk. It's associated with a 50% increased risk of early memory loss, a 30% increased risk of heart disease and stroke.
I know that as people get involved with others, don't you sort of see them, I can't think of another term, but sort of come to life or experience joy? Don't you notice a difference?
Absolutely. Just as not having a robust social life can have negative health effects, addressing that domain of wellness can have the opposite effect. So we see people that are engaging in social activities, their memories are becoming sharper. They are seeing decreases in anxiety and depression, and they're making those meaningful connections that make their life enjoyable.
Now, since we cannot heal from that which we do not acknowledge, it is suggested the first step to overcoming some of these feelings is to tell someone that you can trust. And remember, the 988 hotline, always available 24/7 for any mental health concern. It's available in both English and Spanish, and it will refer you to help right where you live. With your health news, I'm Liz Bonus reporting.
All right, and Katie, what can we expect tomorrow after a busy weather day today?
Quiet weather for one.
We deserve that.
Yeah. But we could use some rain. We're just not going to see too much of it anytime soon. So the dry weather, the hot weather continues